My name is Emily, and if you told me a year ago that my own sister would nearly destroy the happiest day of my life, I would have laughed in your face. She was supposed to be my maid of honor, my best friend, the person who had my back no matter what. But instead, she did something so unthinkable, so cruel, that when I tell people about it now, they either don't believe me or they ask me to repeat every single detail, like it's some Netflix drama. And honestly, that's exactly what it felt like. The moment I saw him, my ex, walk into the wedding hall, my stomach dropped so hard I thought I was going to faint. My bouquet nearly slipped out of my hands. There he was, dressed in a smug little smirk and an expensive suit that I'm sure he couldn't even afford without his daddy's money. He strolled in like he belonged there, like it wasn't the most inappropriate, humiliating, sickening thing he could have done. And the worst part? My sister was right behind him. Her arm was looped through his leg. They were on some kind of date, and the look on her face wasn't one of apology or regret. No, it was satisfaction. Pure, smug satisfaction, like she had just pulled off the world's greatest prank. Only it wasn't a prank. This was my wedding day. And in that moment, standing there in front of all my friends, family, and the man I was about to marry, I realized the person who was supposed to love me the most, my sister, had betrayed me in the most public, humiliating way possible. Like I said, my name's Emily. I'm 28 years old, and up until that day, I genuinely thought I was about to live out the happiest chapter of my life. I was marrying Daniel, the sweetest, most thoughtful man I've ever met. He's the kind of guy who remembers the little things, who brings me coffee just the way I like it, who actually listens when I talk about my day. To me, he was everything my ex wasn't. Now, about my sister. Her name is Samantha, but everyone calls her Sam. She's 25, just 3 years younger than me, and growing up, we were close, like really close. We shared clothes, stayed up late talking about boys, even made silly pacts about who we'd marry first. She always said she'd be my maid of honor, and I always swore I'd be hers. But things changed after college. See, Sam has this jealous streak. It's always been there, but it got worse as we got older. If I bought a new dress, she'd find a way to accidentally ruin it. If I started dating someone, she'd flirt with him behind my back. She thrived on attention, and if she wasn't the center of it, she'd find some way to take it. Still, she was my sister. I forgave. I overlooked. I told myself she'd grow out of it. Spoiler alert, she didn't. Ugh. Even saying his name makes my skin crawl. Ryan and I dated for almost 3 years in my early 20s, and looking back, I can't believe I wasted that much time on him. He was charming in the beginning, aren't they all? He'd say all the right things, buy me flowers, send those good morning texts that make your heart flutter. But underneath all that charm was a narcissist so toxic it's a miracle I made it out alive. He cheated, repeatedly lied about where he was, gaslit me when I confronted him, made me feel like I was the crazy one, and when I finally found undeniable proof, a text from another girl on his phone, he had the audacity to blame me. Maybe if you weren't so boring, Emily, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere. That was the last straw. I dumped him and swore I would never look back. But here's the kicker, my sister knew how much Ryan hurt me. She saw me cry over him, pick myself off the floor after he shattered my self-esteem, rebuild my confidence piece by piece. She knew he was the one person I never wanted in my life again. So imagine my shock when he strolled into my wedding arm in arm with her. She kept making these passive-aggressive comments like, "Are you sure Daniel's really over his ex? Some guys never really let go, you know." At the time, I brushed it off as nerves. Maybe she was just stressed about her maid of honor duties. But now I realize she was planting seeds, trying to make me doubt myself, doubt Daniel, doubt everything. One night, about a month before the wedding, I even caught her scrolling through Ryan's Instagram. She slammed her phone down when she saw me, and laughed it off. Relax, I was just being nosy. He's such a loser. I wanted to believe her, but deep down, something in my gut twisted. The night before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. Everyone was there, Daniel's parents, my family, the bridal party. It was supposed to be this warm, happy gathering, where we laughed, told stories, and celebrated what was about to happen. But Sam kept sneaking off, whispering into her phone, texting with this sly little grin on her face. When I asked who she was talking to, she brushed me off. Just a friend. Something about the way she said it made me I remember pulling her aside and saying, "Sam, please don't do anything to ruin tomorrow. This is my day, okay? My only day. Don't make it about you." She rolled her eyes and smirked. "Relax, Emily. Not everything is about you." Her words stung, but I tried to let it go. I told myself she'd never actually cross that line. She was my sister. She wouldn't, right? But then the next day, as I stood in that beautiful white dress, bouquet in hand, ready to walk down the aisle toward the man I loved, I saw him, Ryan, walking in with my sister, and suddenly, I knew my worst nightmare was about to unfold. The second Ryan walked in, the atmosphere in the room changed. I could feel it in the way people shifted in their seats, the way whispers rippled across the guests like a wave crashing against the shore. Heads turned, eyebrows raised. My aunt nudged my cousin. My grandmother clutched her pearls like she was watching a soap opera unfold live. And Daniel, my sweet, loyal Daniel, looked completely blindsided, his brow furrowed as he whispered, "Emily, is that?" "Yes." My throat was so tight I could barely get the word out. "That's Ryan." Daniel's jaw clenched. His eyes flicked between me, Ryan, and Sam, like he was trying to make sense of an impossible puzzle. Meanwhile, Sam was glowing. Absolutely glowing. Her smug little smile screamed, "Look what I did. Look how clever I am." I could hear the whispers growing louder behind me. "Isn't that Emily's ex? What is he doing here? Did she invite him? Oh my God, how awkward." Every word sliced into me like a knife. My cheeks burned hot with humiliation. I wanted to scream, cry, throw my bouquet at Sam's stupid smirking face, anything to make it stop. But I couldn't. Not here. Not now. This was supposed to be my day. So I did what any bride would do when her world is collapsing in front of everyone. I forced a smile and pretended everything was fine, but inside, I was on fire. And Aaron strutted toward the front, like he was the guest of honor. He didn't look guilty or uncomfortable. No, he looked proud, like crashing my wedding was some kind of victory for him. And the way Sam clung to his arm, it was like she wanted everyone to see, like she was screaming, "Look world, look who I brought to the party." When they reached the front row, the row reserved for family, my heart sank. Sam slid into the seat meant for her as maid of honor, with Ryan sitting down right beside her. I wanted to vomit. Daniel leaned toward me, his voice low but tight with anger. "Did you know about this? Did you invite him?" My stomach twisted. The idea that Daniel could even think I had a hand in this broke my heart. "No," I whispered fiercely. "I would never." Sam must have." But before I could finish, the music started. The officiant gave me a little nod, signaling it was time to walk down the aisle. The timing couldn't have been worse. As I started my walk, all eyes were on me, but not in the way they were supposed to be. Guests weren't admiring the dress, or tearing up at the beauty of the moment. No, they were sneaking glances at Ryan, at Sam, at the tension dripping from every step I took. My hands shook so badly I thought I'd drop my bouquet. My knees wobbled under the weight of humiliation, but I kept going, step by step, toward Daniel, toward the man who still looked confused, angry, and worst of all, hurt. By the time we stood together at the altar, I was barely holding it together. The officiant began speaking, his warm voice trying to cut through the chaos, but I could barely focus. My eyes kept darting to the front row, where Ryan sat smirking like he owned the place. And then, it happened. Right in the middle of the vows, Ryan cleared his throat loudly. "Excuse me," he said, his voice carrying through the hall, "but don't you think we should talk about the fact that Emily and I were together for 3 years before this?" Gasps filled the room. My vision blurred with rage. My chest pounded so hard it hurt. And Sam, She was grinning ear to ear. The officiant nodded, clearly uncomfortable, and I spun on my heels to face Sam and Ryan. "What the hell are you doing here?" I hissed, my voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. Ryan leaned back in his seat, crossing his arms. "Relax, Emily. I just wanted to congratulate you. You didn't think you could erase me from your life so easily, did you?" My stomach turned. "Erase you? I dumped you for cheating on me, Ryan." "You erased yourself." Gasps again, whispers again. My humiliation was now public record. "And Sam?" She finally spoke up. "Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. I just thought it would be nice to have all the people who were important in your life here. Isn't that what weddings are about? Family, love, history, history?" I snapped. "He's not history. He's a nightmare." And you knew. Up until this point, Daniel had been quiet, watching, processing, but now he stepped forward, his voice strong and clear. "Ryan, you need to leave." Ryan smirked. "Or what?" "Or I'll have you escorted out," Daniel said, his tone deadly serious. The room was silent. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. Ryan chuckled, leaning toward Sam. "See? He's already threatened by me." That was when I saw it, the flicker of doubt in Daniel's eyes. He didn't believe Ryan. Not really, but the damage was done. The seed had been planted, and Sam knew it. After what felt like an eternity, the officiant suggested a short break. We stepped into a side room, me, Daniel, Sam and Ryan. I rounded on my sister the second the door shut. "What the hell is wrong with you? You invited him? On my wedding?" Sam crossed her arms, unbothered. "I just thought you deserved closure." "Closure?" I shouted. "Closure doesn't show up at the altar uninvited. Closure doesn't humiliate me in front of my entire family." Ryan smirked. "Maybe you're not as over me as you thought." Daniel stiffened beside me. I grabbed his hand. "Don't listen to him, please. You know I love you." But Daniel's silence cut deeper than any words could, and that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about Ryan humiliating me. This was about Sam, my sister, the person I trusted most. She wanted this. She wanted me broken, humiliated, and vulnerable. And worst of all, it was working, because in that room, with my fiancé's trust shaken and my ex smirking in victory, I realized my sister wasn't just trying to ruin my wedding. She was trying to ruin my marriage before it even began. The silence in that little side room was suffocating. Daniel's jaw was tight, his hand limp in mine. Ryan was smirking like he'd already won. And Sam? She leaned casually against the wall like she was bored, like she hadn't just lit my entire world on fire. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. "Emily," he said quietly, "why would your sister do this?" I turned to Sam, my voice trembling with fury. "Yeah, Sam, why would you do this? Why would you bring him here?" She shrugged. "Because I thought you deserved to face the truth before you chained yourself to a man who's probably no better than Ryan." Daniel stiffened. "Excuse me?" Sam smirked. "What? I've seen guys like you before. They act perfect until they're not." Maybe I was doing Emily a favor. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own sister, my maid of honor, was standing there trying to poison my fiancé against me. Against me. Ryan leaned forward, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "Look, Daniel, I'm just saying, Emily and I had something real once, and if she really loved you, would she have reacted so strongly to seeing me here? Maybe deep down she still feels something." My blood boiled. "Don't you dare twist this. The only thing I feel is disgust. I don't love you, Ryan. I never will. You cheated on me. You broke me. You don't get to rewrite history just because your ego can't handle losing." But Ryan just smirked wider. And the worst part, Daniel's silence. Enough. Enough. I am not doing this." My voice shook, but it grew stronger with every word. "This is supposed to be my wedding day, my moment, and I will not let the two of you." I jabbed my finger at Sam and Ryan. "Steal it from me." Sam rolled her eyes. "Oh please, Emily, don't be so dramatic. You've always loved playing the victim." That was it. That was the exact phrase Ryan used to say when he cheated. You love playing the victim. And hearing it come out of my sister's mouth made something inside me snap for good. The guests, still buzzing with whispers, fell silent as I reappeared. Daniel followed behind me, his face pale and conflicted. Sam and Ryan trailed after us like shadows. I didn't wait for the officiant. I didn't wait for anyone. I walked straight to the center of the room, turned to face the guests, and let the truth pour out. F. For those of you wondering what's going on, I began, my voice ringing louder than I expected. Let me clear it up. My sister, my maid of honor, thought it would be a good idea to invite my ex to my wedding. Gasps, murmurs. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Yes, the same ex who cheated on me for years, who lied to me, who humiliated me, the same ex who made me question my worth, my sanity, my future. That man, I pointed directly at Ryan, who tried to smirk but shifted uncomfortably under the weight of so many eyes, has no business being here today. And the fact that he showed up tells you everything you need to know about his character. The room was dead silent, and my sister, I continued, turning my glare on Sam, knew all of that. She knew how much he hurt me. She knew how much I begged her to support me today. And instead, she decided to humiliate me in front of all of you. You thought it would be funny to sabotage my wedding, to drag the one man who ruined me into the most important day of my life. Do you know what that makes you, Sam? She froze. For the first time, her confidence faltered. It makes you cruel. It makes you selfish. And it makes you the kind of person I can no longer trust in my life. Gasps. Again, my mother started crying quietly. Daniel's parents looked horrified. Sam's face turned red, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to fight back but had nothing left to say. Then, as if the universe wanted to give me one final gift, Ryan spoke up. Wow, Emily, you really love playing to the crowd, don't you? Acting like you're the perfect victim. But everyone knows you're not so innocent. You begged me to take you back. Remember, you cried on the phone for hours. I cut him off, my voice sharp as a knife. Oh, you mean the night after you cheated on me with my coworker? Yeah, I cried, because I was mourning the years I wasted on you. Don't twist my pain into something it wasn't. The crowd turned on him instantly. Murmurs of disgust rippled through the room. A couple of my cousins even booed under their breath. Ryan's smirk finally slipped, and then Daniel stepped forward. Enough. His voice was calm, but it carried authority that silenced everyone. He turned to me, and for a moment my heart stopped. Emily, do you want me to call this off? Tears stung my eyes. No. I want to marry you. I've never been more sure of anything in my life, but I won't do it with them here. Daniel nodded firmly, then he turned to Ryan and Sam. Get out. Both of you, you've done enough damage. Sam's jaw dropped. Daniel, you can't be serious. I am, he said, his voice like steel. Leave. Now. The crowd erupted in whispers again, as two ushers stepped forward, gently but firmly escorting Ryan toward the exit. He cursed under his breath, throwing one last glare at me before disappearing through the doors. Sam, however, wasn't so quiet. You'll regret this, Emily, she shouted as she was dragged out. You'll see who really has your back when he cheats on you just like Ryan. Her voice echoed through the hall as the doors slammed shut behind her. And just like that, the poison was gone. Silence hung in the air for a moment. Then my grandmother stood up, her shaky voice breaking the tension. Well, she said, now that the trash has taken itself out, shall we continue? The room erupted in laughter and applause. I laughed too, tears streaming down my face. But this time they weren't from humiliation, they were from relief, from gratitude, from the realization that no matter how hard Sam tried to break me, I was stronger. And when Daniel looked into my eyes and whispered, "Shall we?" I knew the answer without hesitation. Yes, I breathed. 1,000 times yes. The rest of the ceremony went off without a hitch. Our vows were stronger for what we had just endured. When Daniel promised to stand by me through betrayal, heartbreak and pain, I knew he meant it, because we had just lived it. As for Sam, she tried to reach out weeks later, claiming she didn't mean for it to go that far, but I didn't respond. Some betrayals cut too deep to ever be healed. And Ryan, I heard through the grapevine he got dumped by the woman he cheated on me with. Karma's funny like that. But me, I got everything I wanted. A husband who chose me. A wedding that proved my strength. And the satisfaction of knowing my sister's little scheme didn't just fail. It blew up in her face for everyone to see. So if there's a moral to this story, it's this. No matter how hard people try to break you, they can't win unless you let them. And me, I refuse to let them.